Good evening, everybody. We have a public notice agenda, regular call, city council meeting, Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, Jasper City Hall, 465 South Main Street. It is now 6 p.m. Everyone please understand that city council cannot discuss any presented issue, nor can it take any action on any issue this time, except that a statement of fact, including policy, may be made if responsive to an issue, AG's opinion, JC-0169. We'd like for everybody to know also that the city of Jasper provides the agenda is posted under Government Code Section 551.041. For more information, copy of the Open Meetings Act, please contact the Attorney General's office at 1-800-252-8011 or the City Secretary's office at 409-384-4651 or fax 409-383-6125. The City of Jasper Council Chambers is wheelchair accessible and accessible parking spaces are available. Requests for accommodations or interpretive services must be made 48 hours prior to the meeting. Please contact the City Secretary's office for further information. At this time, we will have a call the meeting to order. We have a prayer by Bob Mahar. Bob?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
We need to call, we need to.
Please bow with me.
Recognize a quorum.
Father God, we thank you for this wonderful place we have to live and the good citizens that we live around. We're blessed beyond belief. We also thank you, Father God, for these men and women who choose to sacrifice their time to be council people for this community. We're grateful of the work that's being done in this community by different organizations, leading us out of some of the darkness we've had in the past, leading us into a bright and better future with jobs and opportunity. For those who might think that we're going through a bad time, I ask them to search their better angels and ask themselves, are we working toward a better future or are we going backwards? So please bear with us, Father God. We ask that you guide us and direct us because it is about your fatherhood and the brotherhood of man. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I'd just like to let everyone know that we do have a quorum. Councilman Barber is here. He can't do the stairs.
There
So he is enough. So we do have a quorum. Okay, the information in your packets for all the council members to review. Hopefully everyone is remembered. If you have any questions about the information in the packets? Have none. Next, we'll have departmental reports. Any departmental reports? Or any questions on any departmental reports? None at this time, okay. Next, we'll move to public comments. We have James Guest, 1316 South John Reddick, Lufkin, Texas. Wants to speak on agenda items 5 and 6. Guest.
Good evening, Mayor. How are you, City Councilman? My name is James Guest. I'm an attorney with the Linebarger Law Firm. I'm a partner. I've been with the firm for 10 years and have been working in Jasper County during that duration. With me today, I have attorney Kevin Dutton, area manager Sarah Hogue, and also area manager Michelle Wood with me today. I look forward to a time that we can come back and share more about my esteemed colleagues and our nexus here to the city of Jasper. We're here tonight to ask you to table agenda items 5 and 6 to give our firm the ability to present to you why our firm would be the best option for the city of Jasper. We have been by City Council, our City Hall many times over the years to present data of how our collections were superior 13 years ago when the council decided to go a different direction than they are today even. We have there are several revenue areas that we can dramatically increase revenue for the city that does not cost you a penny. We'd love to share more about how we can do that and how we've demonstrated that with the county. It's true, our firm was hired by the city and was terminated 13 years ago. A lot has changed since those days. Our firm has invested heavily in the city of Jasper. We opened an office here. We've quadrupled our staffing here. We have 2 full-time area managers, 2 attorneys who work in this area. Our firm pays property taxes to the city. Our employees live within city boundaries. We vote here. Our children went to school here. Our employees are graduates of Jasper. We are committed to this community through our many sponsorships, such as 4-H, the veteran stand down here. We're also involved in the Pro Rodeo and also ADAC, just to name a few. We would like, again, an opportunity to come back and present why all of this matters to the city of Jasper. Now, our firm has represented the county for over 40 years. The city has an interlocal agreement with the county tax office to collect their taxes. And it would be prudent and reasonable to at least hear what we have to offer after representing the city for as long as we have. It would also be more efficient for their taxpayers and for the city, also for the tax office itself. The city council alone gets to determine who they hire, who will best represent the city for collections. You alone have the option to hear who will be the most transparent, who will be the most accountable. And I invite you to visit both of our firm's offices. If you visit the other firm that is presenting tonight, and then please visit our Linebarger firm, you'll see that our office is open and available to the public. The other office is behind closed doors at the appraisal district. Again, our office are open during business hours, and we would love, again, the opportunity to come back and present, and we believe in the spirit of good faith and transparency that you'll give us that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3 minutes. Thank you very much. Kevin Dutton.
Mayor, councilmen and women, I'm not gonna sit here and repeat everything Mr. Guest said, but I do agree wholeheartedly with everything he said. I wanted to reintroduce myself. My name is Kevin Dutton. A lot of y'all know me. I practiced law here for many years with Joe Tannehill's office. Had an office of my own before I moved back to my hometown of Sabine County and became the DA there. In fact, I represented the city for many years before Mr. Ratcliffe took my place. Know everybody here. Think they know me. My kids went to school here through the junior high. Would love an opportunity to come back and present to y'all just what we do and how we do it. And the fact that we have the staff to provide a service, that you get a small town service because there's always somebody here that can answer your questions or work for you. And we would like to be able to present to you the fact that we've got 2 full-time employees that are here in Jasper. So you're getting that small town service, but you're getting the largest law firm that does collections. So we have an opportunity to collect more data. We have an opportunity to find people easier. And things that, like I said, we'd be able to go more into depth if we're given an opportunity to present. So I really would request that y'all, I'm not telling you who to hire, but give us a chance to present our full perspective before you make that decision. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have no more public comments. Okay, now we'll move on to our items for discussion and/or action. Consider for approval 3 sets of minutes. Regular call city council meeting September 9th, 2024. Special call meeting, city council meeting September 23rd, 2024. And special call city council meeting September 28th, 2024. Can I get a motion to approve? Have a motion by Councilman Sample to approve. Can I get a second? Second by Councilmember Holmes. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 2, presentation regarding delinquent tax property collections from Keith Treadway of McCreary, Roselka, Bragg, and Allen.
Yes, thank you, everybody. I was just gonna hand this out real quick. It's actually my business card, so if any
Thank
of
you,
y'all
Keith.
have any questions, you can call me. My cell number is on the back of it. And so at any point, y'all can call me. So as stated, my name is Keith Treadway. I'm a shareholder inside McCreary, Roselka, Bragg, and Allen. We currently represent Jasper ISD and Evadale ISD inside Jasper County. We've represented them since 2014. We also represent almost all of the entities inside Newton County with the exception of the portion of Kirbyville that goes over into it. We also represent most of the entities down in Hardin County. Basically, in addition to me here, we have Carrie Caraway. She is actually the legal assistant that works inside the appraisal district here. She has worked for us since 2017. We have had a permanent office here since 2014 when we first got hired. In fact, actually, the reason that Linebarger started to put a permanent office here and put people here was because of the fact that we put a permanent office here. We've been a law firm for over 60 years. We represent entities inside over half the counties inside the state of Texas. We are one of the 3 law firms that basically does this inside the state of Texas. And so, and then we have a permanent office here in Jasper. In addition to Carrie, we're a full service law firm. That means that basically we have a full service bankruptcy department, we have a full service mineral department. We provide truth and taxation expertise, and so for example, when y'all just went through the truth and taxation process, we checked and made sure that all of our entity stuff was correct for Joe Hoffman, to make sure that everything went nice and smooth. In addition to that, the head of the mineral department is actually a man named Jack Cameron, and he basically, when we first took the 2 school districts down here, he basically lived in a hotel down here for nearly 2 years in order to get Jasper ISD and Evadale ISD cleaned up. And so essentially he has still been doing a huge percentage of our title. And so if you'll hire us, it will be the same staff that's been working this thing for a long, long time. I'm going to do the presentation in a slightly different fashion in that I'm just going to explain, it's more of a story because it kind of explains why we're here and why you should actually hire us. This actually kind of got kicked off back in March of this year. We were working with Derek for your code enforcement. He was calling us and he was asking some questions about a property that we had a delinquent tax suit on. That had happened a whole lot of times over the course of the past basically 4 years. And we basically, as we were having that conversation, we realized that essentially as we were doing our job and as he was doing his job, we just kept running into the same stuff. End result is that Derek asked us at that point to find out essentially how much work each one of the law firms had done. Because he had been having issues, y'all's attorney that had represented you for a long time retired in 2023, at the end of 2023, but he actually kind of quit working at the end of 2019 when COVID happened. And so the end result is that over the course of that time, Derek had been contacting us for almost everything that was being done. So we took a look, and once again, this is March of 2024. And at that point in time, we realized that basically, of the lawsuits that had been filed inside the city limits of the city of Jasper, and y'all had all 3 law firms. So you had Jasper ISD with McCreary, you had Jasper County with Linebarger, and you had Purdue representing the city. That inside the city limits, Linebarger had filed 6 lawsuits since the beginning of 2020. Purdue had filed a single lawsuit since the beginning of 2020, and we had filed 77. And so the end result is that basically we were doing all of the work, which is why Derek kept working with us. That even though we didn't represent the city, that there is a massive overlap between code enforcement issues and basically people not mowing their lawns, people not, demolition on mobile homes, that kind of stuff, and properties that go delinquent. In addition, the collection process for those things is inside the delinquent tax process. And so as he needed those things collected, we were essentially the only law firm that was actually doing work inside the city limits to any significant degree. And so therefore, that's when Derek essentially set up the meeting between us and the mayor and between us and the city manager. The mayor did not want the old council to essentially make the decision for y'all, that he wanted to basically give the new council an opportunity to get in office, get settled, and then for y'all to make an informed decision. And so therefore, y'all just didn't want y'all to be grandfathered in with the old group. So that's how we ended up here. For our entities, we essentially basically collected between 98 to about 101% for the two school districts year in and year out, every single year, with the exception of a couple of those early years when there was so much that hadn't been done for Jasper ISD and Evadale ISD that we collected about 103 and almost 106% in one of those years. Those are extremely abnormal, but there was that much work that was left to be undone. End result is that for you to have good collections, for your collections to be consistent, you have to do it every single year. That you can't skip years. That you work every single year and you do it constant. That means every part of the process. And there is a description of the process that's on the collections process page. But basically, if you are not actively sending letters all the time, if you are not actively filing suits, if you are not actively prosecuting those suits and then selling the ones that don't pay, if you're not keeping up with your payment plans all the time, your collections will not be consistent. And so the one thing that we do bring is we bring in consistent collections year in and year out, which is the entire reason that from basically 2020 until March of 2024, that even when we weren't trying to get your business, because that we did not come out. That wasn't what we were trying to do. We were representing our entities. And so in the process of representing our entities and doing consistent work, it just so happened that the city of Jasper was benefited. And so it was only when Limebarger got interested in getting your business that they bumped up their lawsuits this year. And so the end result is that until such time, we were the only ones that were working. And consistently year in and year out, that is the way it's been. And so, but all of that is essentially just about tax collections. And so one thing we can bring is we can bring consistent tax collections. But cities are different than schools. And so cities, you have mowing liens, you have demolition liens, you have properties that y'all are interested in cleaning up because you have issues in terms of police issues. That basically y'all have stuff that schools don't worry about. The schools, the directive is real simple. Highest dollar amount, bring the biggest amount of money, end result. That's it. And it's purely about taxes. What that means is that where y'all have had, let's say you have an empty lot that essentially is not getting mowed, but it's not that big, but no one's paying attention to it. End result is the taxes may only be, $500 to $1,000, which might not necessarily rise to the amount that we're going to sue on behalf of Jasper ISD, because Jasper ISD only has about half those taxes. And so that doesn't necessarily bring it to our attention as something that I should be working. On the other hand, if Derek is out there mowing that lawn every 6 months, over and over and over, y'all may rack up $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 worth of mowing liens that y'all knock over a mobile home. Y'all have all of this extra money that y'all are already spending. That literally we are just talking about reimbursing you for money that y'all have already spent to keep the city of Jasper clean. And so the end result is that by your current firm not actually communicating with you, by them not actually doing their job, what it meant was that the city of Jasper lost its ability to communicate to a delinquent tax firm that can collect that stuff during your process. The reason that you should hire us is because of the fact that because we have been working for all of these years, we have been working with your staff, which means we're the ones that already have the existing relationship with Derek that he is comfortable with working with, and basically guiding us towards these things. And so that's actually the biggest thing, is that it's not necessarily pure delinquent tax collections. That is actually relatively simple, and truthfully, y'all have been benefiting in a large part because we represent Jasper ISD. And so on pure delinquent collections, y'all aren't necessarily going to get a large bump, but it will still be consistent because we're doing the work. What y'all get the bump on is all of those other things that are part of the delinquent tax process, which is the mowing liens, it is the demolition liens, and it's the ability for the city staff to direct us to where y'all are owed money. And that has not been the case for y'all for basically almost 4.5 years at this point. And so, end result is that what we are essentially asking for is a 3-year contract. It's our standard, it's the standard contract, it's essentially, it's at a 20% fee. But, you know, if y'all felt more comfortable with the 15% one at a future date, we can go to that if that's what y'all were comfortable with. End result is that is actually an add-on that basically y'all don't pay us, you know, we don't bill us hourly, you don't pay us for that kind of stuff. You are essentially only paying, we only get paid when we collect on a delinquent tax. We are not going to be charging you for the mowing lien advice. We're not going to be charging you to collect that stuff. That essentially that is an additional part to what we're already doing, and it's also the reason you should hire us. Because if we're doing the most work in this area, we're communicating with your staff the cleanest, the end result is that y'all are gonna get the best value, because that's what we're doing. And so the end result is that it doesn't cost the city anything to hire us. And so you get all of the work with the city, you get the delinquent tax collections, the taxpayers who went delinquent are the ones that pay us. And so therefore, it's free for the city, and y'all actually get a voice in what happens inside your city, which y'all have not had for a long, long time. And so, I would appreciate it if y'all would let us do business with you. We really would enjoy doing it, but that's up to y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith.
Oh.
I have a question. With Purdue, what happened with, you said something happened with the attorney who Purdue had here?
So basically what happened, y'all were represented by Stephen Lee, and y'all actually had I'll be honest, he actually had a really good relationship with your city. He actually did a pretty good job for y'all through 2019. He collected on your mowing liens, he collected on your demolition liens, he communicated great with Derek. And it's the other reason that, like, straight up, I just did not approach y'all, because quite frankly, I thought he was doing a good job. And so there's no reason in interfering with a contract when someone's doing a good job. Stephen Lee was a little over 65 when COVID hit. End result is that I think he just didn't feel safe, and so therefore he quit going out. He didn't retire until the end of 2023. When Stephen Lee quit working your account, it just fell through the cracks. And so the end result is that basically from the beginning of 2020 through March of 24, they'll have one lawsuit filed by your law firm. And then when Stephen Lee retired at the end of 23, the reason that Derek was contacting us was partially because of the fact that he could not get a hold of your own attorneys. We were the one that actually informed Derek that he had a new attorney because Purdue's attorney had retired. And so that was how that actually came about, was communication between us, not between Purdue and them and your staff. And so that's what has happened.
Thank you. Council, do you have any other questions?
I'm good.
Mr. Trevor? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody's time.
Okay, item number 3 on the agenda, consider for approval. Terminate all contracts with Purdue, Fielder, Brandon, and Mike. Can I get
I make a motion, we approve as presented.
motion by Councilman Hildebrand, second? Second by Councilman Sample. Any further discussion? Any discussion on this matter?
I do have one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
4.5 years, we had no tax collection.
Okay. What you got was basically mass mail out letters that were sent just as standard. And then basically y'all had basically the lawsuits where we filed them and they intervened inside our lawsuits. And so, other than that, no, y'all had a single lawsuit filed on your behalf for 4.5 years, basically.
Yes, that's absolutely unacceptable. Greg, that would be under the purview of the former city manager to be sure that this was being done?
When me and Derek found all this out, is when we started working on seeing what the problem was.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Yeah, good point, thank you. Okay, all in favor, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Terminate the contract with Purdue Field of Brandon and Mott. Next item 4. Next item, consider for approval, terminate all contracts with Texas Communities Group LLC. Motion by Councilman Sample, second. Second by Councilman Hildebrand. Is there any discussion on this matter? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 5, consider for approval resolution reaffirming and adopting imposition of Texas Tax Code Section 33.07, 33.08, and 33.11 to defray the cost of collections. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Hildebrand, second.
I second.
Second by Councilman Sample. Is there any discussion on this matter? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 6, consider for approval, resolution to approve contract for the collection of delinquent property tax and legal representation between the cities of Jasper and McCreary, Fiselka, Bragg, and Allen, PC. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to move that we postpone this until the next regular meeting, just simply so that we can perform our due diligence to the maximum.
Okay, Councilman Sample had made a motion. Councilman Sample, you, get to, Councilman Hildebrand? No? Okay.
You're good?
He good.
Huh?
Okay.
You're not good? Okay.
Move to table.
Move to table?
Well, if we table, we still have to make a decision tonight,
You want to
No.
postpone?
until the next regular meeting.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
You made a motion.
And that's fine, and that's the whole point behind amended, or is to interject a different approach or different idea, but he has the
Well,
right
he
to
has
approve or
But he has to
disapprove. I
approve
agree.
or disapprove your amendment.
Yeah.
So we have a motion from Councilman Sample. We have a second. Do not have a second. Motion dies for lack of a second. So motion, that will be tabled, we'll postpone it until the next meeting, but it won't be postponed, it just dies for lack of a second.
It'll be a new agenda.
It'll be a new agenda item on the next council meeting. Item number 7, consider for approval, discuss and vote on committee recommendations for 2025-2026 Texas Community Development Block Grant Fund. We have a motion from Councilman Holmes, and a second. Second by Councilman Sample. Any discussion on this item? What recommendations are we going this grant?
We recommend Waxman's.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion on this matter from council members? Can I get them? No? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. It's unanimous. Now, item number 8, consider for approval final plat for new subdivision on Bevel Loop. Have a motion from Councilman Sample. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second, Councilmember McCrosky. Any discussion on this matter?
Yes.
Councilman Hildebrand.
I have one
Recognize.
comment. I will support this measure but I want it on record that I'm approving it because I'd like to see this as a new standard for subdivision approvals within the city limits.
The new standard as far as
Subdivision.
subdivision plats, okay? I think
Pardon?
we wanna make sure we see subdivision plats before we approve anything like this, going forward, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question, do they usually not plat a subdivision?
No, they plat subdivisions, but there's so many different requirements out there that they're sometimes impossible to deal with. They can be costly to the developer. This is a much gentler, kinder approach to a subdivision. That's what I'm saying.
And it gives the developers and the builders, something to go out with. A lot of developers and builders won't.
Instead of jumping through 12 burning rings and barrel hoops, we're just jumping through 2 hoops.
And what are the two hoops?
Well, first of all, there's gotta be certain names, there's gotta be certain legend material. I mean, if you look right now at whether it's the county, the Southeast Texas Regional, everyone has their own subdivision planning requirements. Personally, I like Newton County's the best because they have no requirements. But, and that's from a developer's, property management perspective. But you look at most standard subdivision planning requirements, there can be 62 requirements. Some require every street, every road be concrete curb and gutter, that sort of thing, buried utilities. Sometimes it's just cost prohibitive. We're not in a place where our economy and our people can afford ridiculous costs. We're hurting our people more than we are anything else by holding to what I consider too strict or stringent requirements.
And are those requirements in place right now for the plats, for the subdivision?
Yes, but it's not mission critical, in my opinion, as a professional, it's not mission critical.
Any further discussion? Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
You look. Mark? Okay. All right. Any,
Mr. Sample, I believe, made the motion.
yes, Sample made the motion.
I
And she
second.
seconded. That's right. Yes, that's correct. Okay. We have, all in favor said was aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Item 9, consider for approval, City of Jasper third quarter investment reports. Can I get a motion to approve? Make a motion. Motion by Councilman DeMarcus Holmes. Can I get a second?
I'll say.
Second by Councilman Sample. Any discussion on this matter? No discussion. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes unanimously. Item 10, public hearing for demolition of structure on 2079 Greer Street.
Make a motion.
That's gonna be.
That's the property we was talking about.
Yes.
Mayor and council, this is the property that was brought up last meeting at 2079 Greer Street that burned several months back.
Yes.
Back in February. Did my due diligence once again and mailed out certified mail. They had a chance to be here tonight, protest or speak up about it. No one showed, so I asked to move forward.
Okay, yeah, and I drive by that property quite often, and, it is a hazard, because I've been seeing people going in and out of it, it's falling down, it has been burnt, it's burnt, a hazard for that neighborhood, because I've seen kids going up there, but they should have been taken down. You know, it's up to council, to make a decision on which one we got now. Thank you very much. Can we get a motion on this item?
I make a motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Sample, second by Councilman DeMarcus Holmes. There's no more discussion on this item? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 11, thank you.
Hey, Brandon, excuse me, sorry, Brandon. Hey, good report, good detail, I like that. Good job.
Item 11, consider for approval demolition of structure at 279 Ridge Street, damaged by fire. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Sample, second by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion on this matter? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 12, consider for approval Texas Commission on Law Enforcement Procedures 4.007, 5.0401, and 3.504. Interim Chief Poindexter.
Mayor and Council, this is one of those deals like I brought to you a couple months ago. The TCO, the State Governing Agency for us, has sent down new policies and procedures for us to abide by. We can do one or two things, like before, we could either come up with our own, or we can adopt the state procedures. It's always easier to just go to the state, because they can't come back and say, well, you did something wrong, or you hadn't complied. So I just want to make you all aware of that and get the approval to add these to our policy procedure for the police department. You should have a copy of each and every one of them in your packet. One of them is misconduct allegations, which we have something in place already for some of this stuff, but this adds to it. The second one is the personnel files, how we keep our personnel files and what we keep up with. And the third one is hiring procedures and how we keep up and do that.
And what is the first one, 4.007? What is that?
Misconduct of allegations. If someone comes and makes a complaint on an officer or one of the staff members, and there's a process to go through, which we do now. We have the complaint forms they fill out and bring them back to us, and it's investigated by one of the lieutenants or something, and it progresses its way up through the chain. That's what that one is.
So
The
this-
first- I'm sorry. go ahead.
So this Texas Commission on Law Enforcement Procedures, what this does this enhance that procedure at all?
It does add some to it, yes, sir.
Okay.
Question. So, I don't wanna assume I know the answer to this, Mr. Poindexter. How do you, as interim chief of police and a professional, feel about these new state recommendations?
I'm all for them. I mean, it adds stuff to it, it gives us more of a guideline to go by, and like I said, that way if we miss something, we've got the state policy that says, well, this is how you do it.
That's all I need to
And
know.
I would rather go with this than try to make our own and then come back later on and say, well, you didn't do it the right way.
Yeah, gotcha.
So now these are guidelines that you have to follow with
Yes,
the
sir.
state commission.
Lieutenant Foster has already added these to our policy and procedures, we just want to bring them beyond and let y'all know about what we need to do.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Councilman
I
Sample,
second.
second by Councilman Hildebrand. Is there any further discussion on this matter? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Interim Chief. Item 13, consider for approval 2025 calendars for regular call city council meetings and city hall holiday closures. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Councilmember McCroskey, second by Councilmember Hildebrand. Any discussion on this matter? Any questions on this matter? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 14, consider for approval annual Christmas hymns for city employees.
Make a motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Marcus Holmes. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hildebrand. Any discussion on this matter?
Yes.
Councilman Sample.
In this, as I talked to, city manager the other day, I'm not interested in Jasper Court to me getting anything. That's just my opinion.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion on this?
I have a question. How do you choose who provides these? Your procurement?
We get prices of who can get them and who can get them at the best price.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this matter?
One last question.
Go ahead,
Was
Councilman
this by
Dillon.
chance a budgeted item? Great.
When I got it.
Not that it would matter. I want everybody to have a hand.
And they deserve it. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. At this time, council will, executive session, city council and all its members being present will enter closed executive session pursuant to chapter 551 Texas Government Code, section 551.0.4 personnel matters. And if deemed appropriate, take action on the above stated matters. The time is now 6:41 PM. We'll adjourn into executive session.